And that's definitely the difference today, right? Between Real Madrid picking up 3 points and dropping 2 points in a massive title race.
Probably, yeah, 1-0 up. Wouldn't say cruising, but certainly we're not under that much threat. I mean, Courtois had to make one great save, to be fair, and it was a great save in the first half. But you would imagine that second half Real Madrid would have pushed on, started to take more of a control, do what we see Real Madrid do late in games and kill it off. This made it a much more level playing field. It's as well as that, it's just made probably Madrid, the fans, the president, the players more paranoid. And it's probably actually put more pressure on the referees coming up that referee Real Madrid. And as this continues, I think it just piles more pressure on and more focus on the referees. And I agree with Shaq, and we went over this at the time, and I think to a man, almost everybody on this show completely lambasted Real Madrid for their conspiratory accusations. But are we seeing a reflection and a reaction to that? That's something I can't tell you yes or no. But it would certainly seem that the law of averages on Real Madrid getting decisions has swung, the pendulum has swung against and away from them in terms of these big decisions. Now, whether it's off the back of that statement or not, that's just up for debate. But what we do know is they're having a drastic effect on this title race thus far, and that's big. That is big. Now, we saw a sending off in the Atleti game, which we'll get to, which was not even debatable. Those things are great because we can go, a red card. Nobody's arguing about that. This one is just so strange. Having played like we have in games where that, and again, I repeat it, you can't, when the emotion is so high and the pressure is just immense to get results. Players are not robots. Players are not programmed just to go, all right, sorry, ref, you're right, thank you very much. We all sort of move on. That's not how the game works. The game works, and it's spontaneity. It's why we all love it. They're in the crowd. Man, boy, woman, girl, and some of them are screaming. And their language is it's an emotion. And I find this decision today, quite honestly, unless we learn otherwise down the line that it was way worse than this, I find it quite distasteful into where the game is going to go. And in my opinion, a horrendous decision. Real quick,
just because we did see a red card in the Atleti game as well, and we're going to talk about what Diego Simeone did after that. Is there any criticism here for Ancelotti? He gets the red card just before the half. He doesn't make any changes. We talked about maybe taking a Vini, an Mbappe, a Modric off at the half. He didn't do that. Is there any blame at his feet for what happened then in the second half?
I suppose you can always look and say, well, I might have done that different. I can't off the top of my head remember everybody he had on the bench today that he could have used or did use. But I suppose you can always look at the coach. Yes. That being said, Osasuna away was always going to be a relatively tough game.
Is it actually a decent result then that you had to play for half with 10 men in your way against Osasuna?
I don't think it's a disaster in the end, bearing in mind the circumstances that we've talked about. But we're in a three-horse race here this season. There's nobody. It's not like Real Madrid are 10 points clear and they've got a lot of room, a lot of wiggle room. So in terms of the result, it wasn't a disaster. In terms of how it came about, I think that we're going to see a lot of headlines in the next couple of days.
As a standalone result, right now, it's I guess, a disappointment because we want to see what happens for the rest of this extended weekend.
I mean, they opened the door for everybody
right,
else.
And as we said, it's not as bad as maybe it could have been because Atletico Madrid go and drop points, and as I mentioned, Barcelona still have to play on Monday, is it? So the extended weekend, so we see exactly what the fallout is. But I think it's also telling in terms of what changes Ancelotti could have made. He makes one substitution all game long. And you know, he's already having to move players. We were talking about Fede Valverde, who's playing as a right back. Tchouameni is playing as a centre back. So this is already a kind of makeshift Madrid team because of the injuries. So maybe, and again, without knowing exactly who was on the bench and who Ancelotti could have called on, Carlo Ancelotti is kind of limited as to what options he has just to start with 11 players on the pitch.
There you have it. The injuries have been piling up for Real Madrid throughout the season. So far, though, good enough to be in first place in La Liga. Let's see what happens Monday. As Shaka mentioned, Barcelona playing.